Greetings to everyone out there in the NoDQ galaxy. Welcome to the NoDQ live recap of Monday Night Raw for August 26th, 2019. We have Clash of Champions coming up in about 3 weeks. Let's go ahead and get started with the recap. Before we begin, shout out to General Jerry Slaughter, who via Stephen Osborne is the current NoDQ Super Chat champion heading into tonight's stream. All right, so Monday Night Raw kicked off with It's Boss Time. Sasha Banks coming out. We had a recap of what happened last week on Raw, and then Sasha did her promo to explain her actions, why she did what she did to Natalya and Becky Lynch. Thankfully, we got something here. I was worried it was going to be the I don't owe you an explanation promo, but she actually did explain why she was upset. She said that she did leave, and while she was gone, people were still talking about her, even though she did not say anything. She brought up how the story about her being unhappy at WrestleMania was true. And then she said the story about her crying on the locker room floor was also true. She said that, yes, it is true that she took her ball and went home. She said the reason for this is that she was regulated to a WrestleMania tag team title match that she did not care about whatsoever. She said the titles meant nothing to her, and meanwhile, Becky Lynch was main eventing WrestleMania. So basically, Sasha Banks doing a worked shoot here, bringing up the rumors from earlier this year and putting them into the storyline, which was good. The one thing I did not like about it was burying the tag team titles. Now, let's face it here, the tag team titles for the women, pretty much an afterthought at this point, but at that point, people did still care about the tag team titles. So for Sasha to just say she did not care about the titles at all, I mean, it's pissing on the grave of the women's tag team titles. I mean, they were already pretty much buried at this point, and then Sasha says that. Tag titles, you might as well get rid of them at this point. Sasha said she decided to take a vacation and use her WrestleMania paycheck to just kick back and relax. However, she did bring up that Becky Lynch got more money because Becky was in the main event of WrestleMania. And then Sasha talked about how she is the standard. She has been the standard of the women's division. This led to Natalya running out, attacking Sasha. We had the pull-apart brawl with the women, crowd chanting, let them fight, yada, 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 and so on and so forth. We did have another cameo by Fit Finlay, who, of course, has been working with the women over the past several years. And Jesus Miranda, or Jesus Miranda, with a $2 super chat says, NoDQ versus Sean View Entertainment. What did you think of that show? I really am not familiar with Sean's View that much, other than when he made a brief appearance on the NoDQ channel several years ago. So not much else to say. I know he was in the chat room last week, so I appreciate him tuning in. We had the Street Profits do a hype backstage promo for Raw, talking about how the show is going to be lit. They talked about the tag team turmoil match. The rules of the turmoil match were explained. Why we need the rules for this to be explained, I don't know. I'm not a fan of the tag team turmoil match just to begin with because I consider it television filler and nothing else. They brought up the participants and that was that. We had Ricochet versus Drew McIntyre in the King of the Ring match, which I thought was really good. We had a pre-match promo from Ricochet. This was not so good, but whatever. I guess WWE is going to have Ricochet keep cutting promos, hoping that one day he'll become a good promo. Drew McIntyre came out, posed with the throne and the crown that was up on the stage. And the basic story of this match, Ricochet using his speed, Drew McIntyre countering with the power, back and forth. I mean, these guys had really good chemistry. Very solid match here between these two, but I mean, that's to be expected with these guys. Every time you thought Ricochet was down and out, he kept coming back, and then Ricochet hit the recoil and then went up to the top. And I got to give WWE credit with the camera shot here. So they had Ricochet on the top rope, and you did not see Drew McIntyre. And I'm thinking Drew's going to move. Like, Ricochet's taking a while to get up there and hit the move, and they're not showing Drew McIntyre. So I'm thinking he's going to move out of the way. Ricochet's going to jump off the top rope for the 630, and then he's going to land with nothing there. So hats off to WWE for making that camera angle actually really dramatic. I mean, props to WWE. I give credit where credit is due. I thought that was a great camera angle. But anyways, Ricochet actually did hit the 630 and picked up the victory over Drew McIntyre. And people online very upset about this. Was I upset? Not really, because first of all, I picked Ricochet to beat Drew McIntyre. See, guys, I knew going in that Drew McIntyre's push is pretty much over. When he became Shane McMahon's lackey, I mean, that sealed the deal. So I figured, well, maybe WWE will protect him a little bit, have him get disqualified or something, but nope. Drew McIntyre loses clean to Ricochet in the King of the Ring tournament. Can't say I'm surprised. So because of that, I can't really say I'm disappointed, because Drew's push, I mean, really Drew's push ended at WrestleMania when he lost to Reigns. I agree with Virtue. Virtue said that Drew should have beaten Roman Reigns, and WWE could have explained the storyline being that Roman Reigns was not 100% ready to come back yet. Drew could have been pushed as a monster at that point. WWE didn't go that direction. Roman Reigns was just the first guy to lose to Reigns on his comeback tour. And then Reigns went on to other things, and Drew became Shane McMahon's lackey. So, yeah, I mean, push over. Push was over. Wasn't really surprised that Ricochet won. And Ricochet, I predicted in my tournament bracket. So, there you go. We had a recap of the stuff with Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman. We had a promo with them, which I believe was pre-taped because Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch are on vacation right now. And for those of you that missed it, Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch are now engaged. We had this promo with Strowman asking Rollins about a Universal title match at Clash of Champions. And then Rollins accepted the challenge, so it is official. The tag team champions will be going one-on-one at Clash of Champions for the Universal Championship, but can they retain their tag team titles against their very tough opponents that they will be facing at Clash? More on that in a few minutes. We had The Miz come out for his match, King of the Ring match against Baron Corbin. Miz plugged all of his accomplishments. You know, he did main event WrestleMania once. I know that's hard to fathom, but he did. He said, he asked the question, what does he want? He said, he wants it all, and he wants it now. We had The Miz versus Baron Corbin, one-on-one. Baron Corbin was getting angry, yelling at the referee like he's done lately. Miz hit the skull-crushing finale, but Corbin kicked out, and then Corbin came back and beat The Miz with the End of Days. Once again, my bracket is correct. The only match I'm off on so far is Kevin Owens. I was stupid with that. I should have just predicted Owens to get screwed in the first round match. Why I did the semifinal, that was a dumb move on my part. That messed up what so far has been a perfect bracket, except for that one match. So I messed up there, but so far with everything else, I've been on the money with my King of the Ring predictions. Baron Corbin put the crown on and cut a little promo, said that the fans were recently polled and Corbin's the guy they least want to win King of the Ring. And he's basically saying, well, I don't care. I've never cared what the people think, and vowed to become the next King of the Ring. Which, my predictions, I don't think he's going to get there. I think it would be a complete waste of King of the Ring if Baron Corbin wins it. I mean, anything can happen, but I went in a different direction. Power Packers 90 with a $5 super chat. So the first new NoDQ super chat champion of the evening. He says, King Corbin is coming. Ugh, I think I'm going to be sick. I don't think you should panic. I don't think Baron Corbin's going to win King of the Ring. So I would not be too worried about it. My prediction all along was King Andrade. And I think he's a much more solid pick. And here's the thing about Ricochet. Ricochet is being pushed really strongly right now. And for him to beat Drew McIntyre clean, I think that says a lot. I would be very surprised if Ricochet doesn't make it to the final match. And Ricochet on one side against a strong heel, as I said, babyface versus heel. To me, what makes sense is Ricochet versus Andrade. Yeah, it could be Ricochet versus Buddy Murphy or Ali, but I think it's going to be Ricochet versus one of those three guys I just mentioned, but probably Andrade for the heel versus face dynamic. All right, so let's move on here. We had the OC with the promo backstage complaining about Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman earning a title match out of thin air while they had to compete in a tag team turmoil match to get an opportunity. This is a totally valid argument, and the heels should not have valid arguments. The heels should always be full of crap. So for them to make a valid argument, weak writing, Paul Heyman, if you were responsible for this promo. Just saying. We had a recap of Rey Mysterio being talked out of retirement by his son Dominic, but no follow-up on that. No Rey Mysterio on this show, so oh well. We had Bayley versus Nikki Cross. Yawn. I mean, come on now. Just to recap for everybody, Bayley beat both Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross in a handicap match. So why are we supposed to believe that Nikki can beat Bayley in a one-on-one match? What was the point of this match? So, surprise, surprise, Bayley won with the flying elbow. OMG whiz. You gotta be kidding me. Why was this even a match? What was the point of this other than TV filler? Why not have Bayley beat like Dana Brooke or something, or just anybody else? Just something we haven't seen before, so at least maybe we can think there's a snowball's chance in hell of somebody beating Bayley. I mean, come on! All right, so speaking of come on, we had the tag team turmoil match, which, this was just torture. So we had the War Raiders come out first, and I'm like, great, these guys ain't winning. Like, it would have been cool if the War Raiders went through everybody, but they're 8 tag teams, and I just don't see the Raiders going through all the teams. So didn't expect them to pull off the victory here. We had War Raiders beating the B team, just time filler. We had the OC come out, and then both teams started fighting each other, and they got DQ'd. And this might have been the first time that I could recall a double disqualification in a turmoil match. Whatever. We had the brand new tag team. How exciting. Bobby Roode, Robert Roode, whatever the hell his name is now, the guy that never appears on television anymore, teaming up with Dolph Ziggler, the guy that lost to Goldberg, the guy that lost to The Miz, the guy that loses every pay-per-view match. They're a team now, and they're going for the tag team titles. Whoop-de-frickin-do. I'm jumping out of my seat. Pure excitement here for this. We had this new team, which I guess we could call Rudolph, against the Lucha House Party, and OMG whiz, we had Rudolph pull off the victory over the Lucha House Party. Then we had the Revival come out, and poor Revival. Aren't they facing the New Day for the SmackDown Tag Team titles? They get beat here as well. And at one point, the referee is yelling out 90 seconds, and then, shocker here, OMG whiz, we had 90 seconds after the referee said this, Bobby Roode pinned Scott Dawson with the glorious DDT. Not just the DDT, the glorious DDT, in case you guys were wondering. We had Heavy Machinery. Well, actually, I just completely forgot about this, but Roode and Ziggler beat the former tag team champions, everybody. Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins. Then we had Heavy Machinery come out as the final team, and I'm just groaning here. I'm like, this is such a joke. This whole match, just a waste of time. I don't care about any of these teams. Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler, Rudolph, they wanted a timeout, and I don't blame them. I mean, what's the psychology here? You have the heels beating 3 teams, and they're tired, they're worn out, and now you have the babyface team coming out as the last team. Isn't this ass backwards? Shouldn't it be the babyface team that has to go through hell, and then they have the odds stacked against them? Like, I don't understand the psychology here. But nonetheless, we had Bobby Roode pin Tucker with the glorious DDT, and yes, Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler, Rudolph, they will be facing Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman at Clash of Champions. This match was a dud to the max, dudes. It was not pretty. Waste of time. Speaking of waste of time, we had another freaking Roman Reigns video package. Again, the same one we've seen every single show, Raw and SmackDown, for like the past month now. They just add on the little extra clip from the last week's show. I'm so tired of it. I don't care anymore. I'm over it. When I saw Eric Rowan's dad on SmackDown, I got over it. I do not care anymore. They could have made me care with Luke Harper, but I don't care anymore. You show me another recap. I get it. It sucks. It's a lousy storyline. You botched it. Let's end it. Move on. Next up, we had Natalya versus Sasha Banks, and Natalya had a hot start, but Sasha quickly gained the momentum. Sasha started going after the injured arm of Natalya, which made sense. And then Sasha Banks put on the Banks statement, and Natalya fought for a while, but eventually tapped out. And then Sasha continued to attack her after the match. I thought this was pretty good. This was probably the best thing on Raw. I mean, this combined with the Sasha promo, so far so good with Sasha. WWE hasn't messed it up yet with Sasha. Good stuff here. And Natalya, she was injured going into the match, so I liked it. Good stuff here. Fine. Next up, we had AJ Styles interviewed. He said that the OC were screwed. And again, I agree with the heel. I should not be agreeing with the heel. They were screwed. Why were they even in that match to begin with? AJ said that he will beat Braun Strowman without the help of the OC. And this led to Cesaro with his generic music, his very awful music, against Cedric the Entertainer, or excuse me, Cedric Alexander. Cedric! I think of Alicia Fox. Every time Cedric Alexander comes out there, I'm thinking of that storyline with Alicia Fox. Like, I haven't seen anything else from Cedric Alexander that has really entertained me. I mean, the guy's a great athlete, but the thing that, to me, the peak of Cedric Alexander's career has been that storyline with Alicia Fox, where she screams, Cedric! With her scratchy voice. We had Cesaro targeting the knee. I mean, this was a good match, but crowd did not care about it. So far, this Cedric push ain't catching on. At least in New Orleans. I mean, this was just not one of the better WWE crowds. What is it about Louisiana? Because I could have sworn that Baton Rouge or one of those cities, Lafayette, from a recent Raw like 6 months to a year ago, was like a terrible crowd. I just feel like Louisiana just has these really bad wrestling crowds. I mean, what is it with Louisiana with these dead crowds? Anyways, Cedric won with the lumbar check, and he goes on to the King of the Ring. I mean, no shock here. I mean, he's got a match next week, so I wouldn't expect him to lose here. So, yeah, just more filler. We had a recap shown of the 24/7 title changes from the Fox Founders Day event. Besides that, there was nothing from the 24/7 people on this week's show. For those of you that missed it, over the weekend, they had the Fox Founders Day show or event, whatever the hell it was. We had Elias getting pinned via fruit roll-up by R-Truth to win the 24/7 title. And then some Fox Sports host, I forgot his name, Rob Stone, something like that, ended up pinning R-Truth. R-Truth like did this really bad falling down, like he fell backwards, and then Rob Stone pinned him. And then we had Elias roll up Rob Stone with the safest roll up of all time to protect the non-wrestler. Good for him. Elias regains the 24/7 title, and yeah, that was that. Nothing else from that on the entire show. So I guess the 24/7 title is not 24/7. It wasn't even defended on Raw. R-Truth and Elias weren't even there. We had an interview with Rudolph. Dolph Ziggler said that he normally doesn't trust everyone, but Bobby Roode has shown that extra drive, and Ziggler said he gravitates towards Roode and said that they are real main eventers. Ha ha ha. And then Bobby Roode responded by saying they are the best looking tag team in WWE. Well, hard to argue that one. And then we had the Street Profits once again talking about how Raw has been lit. I'm not sure which Raw they were watching. I don't think that they were watching the same show as me. Dawkins was wearing beads and said that he was getting ready for the Bourbon Street party, yada, yada, yada. Whatever. These guys have been very hit and miss for me, and this week they were a miss. Just my opinion. I know some of you like them, but their comedy is very hit and miss for me. We had a recap of all the crazy stuff that Bray Wyatt has done, but beyond that, nothing else really going on with Bray on this show, just the recap. And then we had the main event of the evening, AJ Styles versus Braun Strowman. AJ worked over Strowman's leg, but then Strowman actually broke out of the calf crusher. I mean, we really shouldn't be surprised by this. Even an injured Braun Strowman with his size and strength should easily be able to power out of anything AJ does. So, yeah, kind of hard to suspend disbelief on this one. Referee got knocked off the apron. AJ used this opportunity to use a steel chair, and then Braun Strowman countered, hit the running power slam, but the referee was down. OC came out. Strowman fought back with the chair. And then AJ Styles decided to play possum. Referee got up. He claimed that he heard the steel chair, so it must have been Braun Strowman using that chair, and called for the bell. What a stupid finish this was. Like, you didn't even see it. The referee has to see it. Isn't that how it goes? You can't just go by what you hear. What if a fan at ringside smacked a steel chair? This was dumb. This was really dumb. I thought this was really lame. So we had Braun Strowman be disqualified, and then after the match, he beat up the OC, laid them all out, held up the championship. Yawn. Pretty boring ending to the show. No big cliffhanger for next week. So yeah, that was Monday Night Raw, everybody. The only thing on this show, I mean, I would say check out the Sasha promo, check out the match with Natalya, check out the Cesaro, or not Cesaro. I mean, that match was kind of eh. I mean, it was good, but skippable. Ricochet and Drew McIntyre, if you can get over Drew losing, go check out that match. Everything else on this show I thought was dud to the max. So I'm going to give this episode of Raw a D+. Pretty piss poor Raw, and I think SmackDown will have an easy time topping Raw this week. Jeremy Dorsett with a C+. Mr. Anderson with an F. Michael Wayne gives this episode of Raw a D. Ma Wrestling with a D. Mayor of Peepsville a C+. DS Pin 41 with a D-. Michael Heiss with a D. Mike D with a C-. CC Drink with a D+. Aaron Lamar with an F. Lewis with an F. Wolvie667 with an F-. Dr. Scorpio with an F-. Calvin Bowman with an A. So Calvin Bowman liked Raw. Aaron Anderson gives it an F. Matt Helms with a D+. So I feel like for the most part, maybe I overrated Raw. The only person that gave this show, Will Nelson, gave it an A+. I'm not sure if he's trolling or maybe he really loved Raw. This must have been the Raw of the year for him. I don't know why, but maybe he can elaborate in the chat room why he loved Raw so much. So that was Raw, everybody. And quick plug here, NoDQ's CAW is back. For those of you that have been asking about it for years, it is back. Wayne Needham and Bobby Spade doing commentary. Check it out on the NoDQ YouTube channel. Buy a hat, NoDQ.com/merch. You can pick up a NoDQ hat or a t-shirt. Power Packers 90, who I believe is still the NoDQ Super Chat champion, says, so the old BC guys get made to look like jokes before All Out. F- times 10. Boring show. I agree, Power Packers. Boring show. Pretty forgettable, skippable Raw. Thank you very much for the Super Chat. I do appreciate it, Power Packers. And Virtue says that Sasha's promo wasn't bad for her, but it wasn't great. I agree with that. I mean, I thought it was a good promo. I was happy that she said something other than the standard, I don't owe you an explanation. But, I mean, yeah, it certainly wasn't at a Steve Austin or Hulk Hogan heel turn. It wasn't epic or anything. It was fine. It was a good promo, but nothing overly special. But, yeah, I would say the Sasha stuff was probably the highlight of Raw overall, along with the Ricochet match. So that's all I got, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. I will be back tomorrow night. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe, click on that notification button to get updates. Tell a friend. Word of mouth goes a long way, so anything you can do to help spread the word, I would appreciate it. Tune in tomorrow night for another edition of the NoDQ Live Recap. I'll talk about SmackDown and maybe some other stuff. See you guys then. Have a great night.